Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 12, Week 1, Day 6. So, of course, the week is rolling to an end. However, we do have a lot of events that can be finished up. Most notably, today is the first day that Legends Reborn can be fully finished. You have till the end of tomorrow. Actually, where's the timer? It says it right there. 1 day, 5 hours, 53 minutes. Until the event ends up ending. And as of today, we could finally go do the final set to go get a maxed out Flame Troll. And of course, if you haven't already, 300 brown kills, which is about 21 brown kills per day. If you haven't already done that, you get a free pet as well. The gem one is pretty decent value. And skip the money one. Skip the money one, you'll be able to get it in actually a couple days. It should immediately be in drop table based on what they've said in the past. It seems like it was like a couple week delay the other time. But regardless, within like a couple weeks or less, the paid one will be in drop table, so you can just find it randomly off of Pet Gnome, so no need necessarily to go and get it. Of course, you still have the faction events, which I guess we'll poke on some to end up getting a little bit of progress. I won't be able to get all the rewards with buying 0 stages, but you still get a decent amount of loot here and there. So I'll touch up on that as well. And of course, still got the Kingdom Pass going along. We actually messed with the new weapon last night, the Slashing Embers. We're actually exactly halfway there. Though even once we finish it all the way, you still get some extra rewards at the end if you paid for the paid side. But overall, it's an interesting weapon. It's fun to use. It's not particularly viable, though. It is definitely fun to use, though, and somewhat usable. It just takes too long to use relative to just being kind of average. Well, that flash offer is so bad. Anyways, let's start doing things. So, I believe my guild has finished out this event. They have. Good job, guild. So we'll go take all of this. Get ourselves a major purple. So that's one event out of the way. Oh yeah, I forgot to do my little bit of battles for that. Whoops. Luckily, guild carried us. I guess we'll start with dungeons, oddly enough. We got a perfect last night, and steers. We got a perfect dungeon. Because before having level 20 dungeon, your most perfect dungeon that you can get is downward steers combined with a perfect, which is exactly what we got last night. The next perfect is once you reach level 20. The perfect would be getting 3, or getting an actual perfect combined with getting the jewel loot. The one that gives you diamond or the corresponding color. Like, for example, today would give us brown shards. On diamond day, it gives you diamonds. Anyways, let's see if we can get lucky again. 2 days in a row? 2 days in a row? No. Boo. Hey, there's the resource I was talking about. It always gives what's corresponding today, to the day. So today is a brown day. So it gives us brown little shards thingies. And, oh gosh, double trap. Unfortunate. Okay, well, that's our layout. Let's go do it. That's not the team I want. Let's go use a Zolgoth team. And be good to go. Actually, we'll be using a lot of Zolgoth this stream. Because we'll need it for this. We'll need it for the Legends Reborn. And do we need it for anything else? Actually, that might be doing too. Unless we're doing some Explore 12. But given that we're mostly doing wrapping up of events, I'm not sure if we're actually touching Explore 12 tonight. Just because today's kind of the make sure every event is completely finished day. Since we still have some events going on from the 8-year anniversary of the game. Still going on from last week. Like the Legends Reborn that we should probably go do next after this. After go clear out the dungeons and adventure board. We'll probably head over to that. As that has probably the tightest deadline of the things we need to go poke. As it does end on Monday reset. Which are quite a few of these things do, but still. Anyways, hello everyone. Hope all of you guys been having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hello, Bill. Hello, Lester. My sleep schedule has been all over the place, though we are fixing it tomorrow. I am going to bed at a same time tonight, and we'll be streaming at like 7 a.m. tomorrow in the morning. So we're actually going to get proper sleep. Unlike the last few days. Hello, Lester. Hello, Ricardo. Hello, Emernator. Hello, Isabel. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Jason. What's up? Pretty much the usual. I've been playing way too much of the new Pokemon game. Overall, I've really been enjoying it. There's still quite a few things about it that's rather janky, that hopefully they'll be able to patch with some performance fixes. But overall, the experience has been a lot of fun. Okay, and last night in Gems of War, we got a perfect on Dungeon. It was kind of funny because someone was asking us how many perfects we had. And then, like, a minute later, we got a perfect. So that was rather convenient. Which is currently 3, by the way. We've gotten 3 perfects so far. One of which was last night. Which is only like 1 per month relative to how long it's been. Oh, Isabel, have you two been doing any multiplayer together? You and Tyrion? Because I still haven't tried that. I need to try that on stream tomorrow. And I have no clue how it works. I'm pretty sure it's pretty straightforward. However, I haven't actually utilized it yet. Let's grab our Dragonite. How much Dragonite we sitting on these days? Should be a little over 3,000. That might sound like a lot, but that's like only halfway there. Relative to how much more we need. It's actually less than halfway there if you had no progress at all. Oh yeah, it does, all the way at the top. Yeah, 3,176 is where we're currently sitting at. Especially because that perfect pushed us over to 3,000 the other day. Actually, we hit 3,000 last night when we ended up getting the perfect dungeon. Anyways, let's clear out, not that. Let's clear out this real quick. It's only a single gem key, but let's just go very quickly kill that out. And then we'll go use Zolgoth for the only other piece of content I think we need to use it for tonight, which will end up being the Legends Reborn. Mostly because the Legends Reborn keeps scaling as you keep going deeper and deeper. And I believe it's like level 140 or 150 or something for the final set, which is basically Explore 12 difficulty. At least indirectly anyways. He helped you get Sylvia? Nice. I skipped your gems hello? I said hello to you, Tyrion. Unless you said something specifically in it. Wait, let me double check. But yeah, hello, Tyrion. You found your first shiny? Oh, nice. What was it? Ooh, what shiny did you find? Oh, yeah. Tyrion, did you tell Isabel what happened on the stream? Because I don't think she was there at the end of the stream. Because if you didn't tell her, don't tell her. She'll find out at the beginning of next stream. She already knows. Because we did find a shiny. But the specific one we found, I think she will find very interesting. Let's see. What am I looking for? I am looking for the event I was just talking about. Legends Reborn. So we have today and tomorrow to finish it out. Let me go finish it out. Obviously, we're not going to read through the storyline again. Well, we read it through every single time on the Monday. Or, you know, when on the first day when the Legends Reborn begins. Though, of course, we do not read it the other 4 times. If it had different words there, it probably would. But it does not. Is it an owl? No, it is not an owl. Actually, I haven't even seen Noctowl in the game yet. I'm not sure if it made the cut. That or I just haven't seen any area that's had it yet. Got a shiny Hoppip? Nice. Isn't that one that looks like a green ball? Let's see. I'll throw that down. Wait, so Isabel, do you know what it is? Because I think you would find it very interesting. Because I don't think you were on stream because it was so early in the morning. Since we're streaming like all night. Because that happened like way at the end of the stream. Well, not the end, but the last 2 hours. Oh, you forgot? Okay, I'll show it to you at the beginning of the stream then. I think you'll like it. We got perfect color synergy on the ball as well. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of, Tyrion. Because your shiny's green is basically just a big green flying ball. Which must be really annoying to spot, since they don't have the shiny alerts. Because a lot of times that Pokemon is right next to another green Pokemon, that it's his next evolution. And if I'm not mistaken, they're both the same green. So they just blend right into each other. Whenever they're spawned next to each other. That's honestly going to be one thing that's going to be so annoying with that game, in post-game, when we actually do start doing that properly. I really wish they would add, like, some very subtle amount of sound or animation cue. Because having no visual or sound cue is going to make that insanely annoying. For how many shinies you'll probably miss. Because it basically makes the strategy of, like, just flying around everywhere not viable. Because realistically, the best strategy will just be to kill everything in a circle, rather than flying around and exploring the world. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because that's a lot more AFK-able, to some degree. Where you just move slightly, click the R button, wait like a minute, move slightly, click the R button, wait about a minute. And do that until they don't kill something, which means it's a shiny. Like, that's probably going to be the strategy. How do you expand your box spaces in Pokemon? That is something that I hate about a lot of the Pokemon games too, that I don't understand why they keep doing, because it makes no sense. You have to catch more Pokemon to expand your box space. What's annoying about this is, in order to get more space, you have to have less space. If that makes any sense. It gives you space when you start running out of space, up to likely 32 unless there's a different cap for this game. It's a really weird system that's in like almost every Pokemon game. Instead of just giving you all the boxes at once, they gradually keep giving it to you when you start running out. Which means you deliberately have to start to run out of space to get more space, over and over again. Which is not a particularly good system. And I don't know why it came back in this game. In all fairness, it's been like in almost every game. Oh, why'd I do that? Our skull went away. I mean, our flame went away. Or not our flame, but our thing that can do damage based on fire has died. Halfway there. After this, Legends of Reborn, I think we'll be done for the rest of the year. Because I believe this is the last Legends Reborn of the year. I don't think we're getting any other event. Oh, we are getting other events, but you know, as far as Legends Reborn, I believe this is the very last one of the year. Actually, what big event are we getting in December? We're obviously getting a 2-week event for Christmas. We're getting a patch, which is going to do who knows what. What else? We have a Vault event the first weekend of next month. We do not have confirmation if we're getting one for the holidays. But we do know for sure that there's one right at the beginning of the month. Which is the normally scheduled one. But sometimes they add some additional ones for the holidays. Which hopefully they do. Because I'll probably be able to grind for max level if they do. Or not max level, but you know, 1,800. That's definitely not max level, but you know what I mean. The goal of how high we want to get on level for the near future. Alright, this should kill if we get lucky. There we go. Hey, your birthday's on December 12th, a Pokemon party? We could. I should be around that day. Well, I still haven't fully figured out my family trip. It's going to be happening at the end of the year. Like the last week or so, most likely. I still don't know the official dates yet. The December 2nd Mythic looks promising. Is it? I actually haven't checked the next Mythic. Maybe we'll go peek at it after we finish out Legends Reborn. Because I haven't actually peeked at the final Mythic of the year. Also, Mythic tier list video. We're actually going to be doing that somewhat soon. Because the final Mythic of the year is almost out. And I believe we know what all the Mythics are at this point. So theoretically, we could almost do it now. I would just need to go make up the list. I might end up doing it next week. Probably around Thanksgiving time. Or so. Or a little bit after Thanksgiving, because I'll be slightly busy for Thanksgiving. Well, not super busy, but busier than an average day. But, yeah, well, we should try to cover that soon. I want to cover it probably slightly before the final mythic comes out. Which would mean right at the end of November. Because we do know currently at this exact moment in time, if I'm not mistaken, every mythic that will be out for the year of 2022. Or, you know, this current year. Because there should only be 2 more left. There's the one for the beginning of next month, as we get every month, of course. And the other one that's still remaining is the one from the Season Pass, which we'll be getting in 9 weeks from now. Which I believe puts it, like, around Christmas? Or somewhere around there? Actually, wait, never mind. 9 weeks from now... Hold up. 9 weeks from now actually goes till January, doesn't it? Hold up. Yeah, I guess that mythic technically isn't from this year. I might still include it in the video, because the pass that it's from is this year. We know you can't actually obtain it this year. Because one interesting thing that Gems Award doesn't actually do, you can't buy tiers for the Kingdom Pass. Or, I mean, you can for the Kingdom Pass. But you can't buy tiers for the Season Pass. The Campaign Pass. Even though they did add that system to the Kingdom Pass, it is specifically mentioned from their... Or is specifically missing from their bigger pass. Which, honestly, I don't mind at all. Because it's not generally a feature I, like, ever engage with in any game. But, yeah, they actually don't have any way that you can spend money, gems, or any resource to expedite the normal season pass thing. Like, you can slightly with the star system, which I guess is moving it ever so slightly. But you can't just, like, infinite buy tiers. Like, the most you can do is buy essentially 1 week's worth early of tiers by having the super big pack. But it's mostly just to get the other loot, not necessarily to get stuff slightly early. Because you can't just, like, have the whole pass done on day 1. Because there's quite a few games where you can do that. Similarly with the Legends Reborn, though, I highly would not advise doing that. But, yeah, you can't just do that with the campaign pass in this game. Like, the earliest you can have it is 1 week early. Which, honestly, I kind of like that system. So you can't just have, like, all the loot on day 1. Have to actually grind for it. And it's not even much of a grind. It's like, what, half an hour every Monday? Obviously, it can take a little bit longer earlier in the game. Or if distracted. Well, we've been getting that time down pretty quickly. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. That's the most... that is the most value I've seen in cast since its buff. That was a very lucky value. Kill it before it does it again. You know what, I'm just gonna double skull him. Apparently I'm going for mana. Oh wait, I could have run for skull right there, no! Oh yeah, you could theoretically buy the task to completion, but that doesn't skip a week, or, you know, that doesn't skip through the pass. It just skips through the hour or so grind that you have to do every week for it. Which generally I would never really advise spending gems on, especially since they added the repick option. Which honestly, probably one of the best features they ever added for the campaign passes. Because it made all the ultra annoying tasks just one free skip away. Because before it seemed like they were putting annoying tasks in there just to try to get people to spend gems. But then they added a feature where you could just skip it for free. Which was very beneficial. Because there's a lot of tasks that, depending on your circumstance, you won't want to do. Like arena, treasure hunts, people tend to skip. People tend to skip the ones that take multiple days. So those don't occur as often these days. Like when you have to do dungeons or adventure board for multiple days. But they made it so you can skip them now. You get one free skip. You still get a task, obviously, in its place. But you don't have to do the more annoying task. Big question. Do I have any clothes in Scarlet and Violet? No. But the reason we don't have any clothes in Scarlet and Violet, and why we're still defaults, like 100% default, like literally we just picked a character and nothing has changed. But the main reason we are the ultra defaults and haven't changed anything is mostly because I've been skipping every trainer fight in the game. Because normally in a Pokemon game, Like, the Pokemon games are generally balanced that you'll take some or most of the Pokemon fights, because the paths are set up in a way where you're forced to take the fights. However, in this game, every non-mandatory story fight is skippable. So you just walk right past them. And because I walk past literally every single one of them, I haven't been getting as much money in the game. And since we're not getting as much money in the game, our funds for balls and like every resource that you would be spending it on are near non-existent. So it's leading to a loop where we have like a absurdly under amount of funds than we need that we keep like immediately spending. That keeps making us not have any money in game to get cosmetics, which is just self-perpetuating forever until we finish the game. Until we get to post-game, we are probably not changing our outfits. Because I'm skipping almost everything that would normally give you more funds in order to get everything completed. And then we'll go decorate our character. I'm not even sure what the cosmetics look like in the game. Since I haven't played multiplayer yet, and I haven't stepped foot in any shop, I'm not even sure what the customization is like. Though I have heard that people mentioned that it's like all school uniforms or something. So that might make it not that diverse of an option as far as what you could do. But I've not actually seen any of them yet. Let's see, we'll take that one over. Oh, go and move. I hate when I accidentally select skull. Because I'm like swiping and it's like, why is it not moving? Yeah, I've been lied to. Oh no, I haven't actually looked at them, so I wouldn't know. There we go. The Flame Troll's pup. It has been completed. It even says the word complete, so you know you're done. But yeah, all you need to do for Legends Reborn is finish out these 5, which obviously we have done now, and make sure you have 300 brown kills, which I'm pretty sure will happen even if you don't even try, as 300 brown kills is super absurdly quick to get. Even just doing like general dailies without even paying attention to it will probably give it. Anyways, let's go max out the pet. And this is the 3rd max pet we got. 2 of them are free. You get the Flame Troll for free. You get the one for 300 brown kills for free. You have to pay like 1,350 for the Sugar one. And the money one, you could just skip and wait until it's available for free in a week or a couple weeks. You'll find it in the standard pet drop table. Actually, we got the previous one that way as well. If we type in... can you search by... No, you can't. Okay. Let me go by Kingdom. Because we actually got the previous money locked one the other day. I think this was like last week. Where'd it go? I'm looking for Shentang. Shentang. Is it called the Shentang? I'm pretty sure it's just Shentang. Yeah, Shentang. This pet. We got the Hongalong's fowl. This was the money locked pet for the previous Legends Reborn. And as you can see, we have it for free. But, and we got 2 copies when we got it. But, yeah, you can find them. You just gotta wait, like, after the event. They say it's instant. I feel like it's slightly a week or a couple week delay. Not sure exactly how it works, but regardless, they do return in a drop table, as you can see. Because this one is from the previous Legends Reborn. So the one for Infernus that's in the current one will also be available at some point very soon. It's just the RNG to get it will be very random on if you will or will not end up getting it or not. Okay, so we really only have 2 other things to do then, right? The only 2 things we haven't wrapped up are the 10 crowns for today, to keep progressing slowly at the Kingdom Pass. And the other one is if we want to grind some at the faction events, which I guess we will. The faction event mostly just giving us some shards and stuff. Not too concerned about getting more progress on it, as we're mostly just getting like an orb. Oh, there's a portrait there, I guess. I title all the way at the end while we'll be skipping. That reminds me, can I buy any of those older titles yet? Because these are like the first titles I ever bothered skipping. And I don't think a single one of them has been re-available yet. Yes, it has. There it is, Gargoyle. That was one of the ones we skipped about a couple months ago. Basically, how these work is 3 months after the fact, they are obtainable again. And that was from one of the ones that we skipped from... Oh, wait, does that change my title to it, though? Oh, no, it changed my title. No, because I always automatically unlock all the titles. I never realized that. So now if I want to find a title that I had before, it is buried somewhere because for whatever reason, there's not an alphabetical sort for these titles. So even if you know what title you had, you cannot actually find it because it is in a gigantic mess of what on earth this blob of titles is. How many titles are in this game? Okay, now we need to know where our title is relative to this gigantic blob. Oh no. Oh no. I forgot about that. There it is. Okay, it's towards the higher end. Anyways. I found it. I will grab our gems. Anyways, I forget. I've never actually bought in a title before because we always unlocked every single one from the events that correspond to it. But the first time we started skipping titles was for these events because it saves you 710 gems and you can just get the thing later with shards because each of these ends with a title that I've been skipping lately. Just because of mostly just have slightly more gems for buying Dragonite with, as our gem stack's kind of been going down. Actually, might even need to grind some gems soon because we're almost under 20,000, and I do not want to dip under 20,000. Anyways, let's go do the other events now. So we really only have 2 now, or technically 1, but we do want to progress some on the other event. It's the only one we have to do because the other one we could theoretically do all of it tomorrow if we really wanted to. We'll do some of it now. Alright, as soon as we finish out this, we'll go hand out a code. And then the rest of the time we'll probably mess with faction event. Also just a standard grind. We're not going for leaderboard. We're not even going for all rewards. We're just getting some more grind on it. We're literally just doing the free grinds. But hey, 0 gem costs. And you still get loot. And still a decent handful. There's actually a lot of events like that. You still get a pretty good handful of loot for. Bounty Hunters are a particularly interesting one. I still like maxing it because maxing a bounty troop after the fact is a lot harder than maxing a faction troop after the fact. So I do still like getting them all the way maxed through the event. However, as far as how it actually ends up working, it's you get a lot of loot if you were to go the free route for Bounty Hunter. Like the only thing you're really missing out are like the 2 major orbs, like a few other small orbs, and the title. Wait, does it even come with a title? And the title, if it comes with a title, I don't remember. But you're not missing out on particularly high amount of loot. And you get quite a lot of it for free. So the main thing that you'd miss out on is the max troop. And that's probably one of the main reasons we still buy into Bounty Hunter. Is that max troop is actually the main value prospect these days for the Kingdom Stars. As it is a lot harder to max those out compared to a faction. Because if we skip the faction troop, all we have to do is wait 4 to 6 weeks. Throw some shards at the faction after the fact. And which is a resource we're basically not even using for anything other than that. And then boom, we're good to go. We'll get it very easily. We can just throw a blue orb at it, and you know, just barely takes any resources. But to get a bounty hunter troop maxed after the fact, you either have to spend a bunch of event keys corresponding to the kingdom. You either have to get really lucky on just like spamming gold and glory keys, and have to redo that every single time a new one comes out, which will waste through a lot of resources. And it's just not that efficient to reobtain it at a later point. At least comparatively to how easy it is for the underworld. Because Underworld basically has a perpetual system where you can event key for 4 troops. Or I guess soon 5, as many kingdoms are starting to get 5. As well as all the ones we'd actually have to target. So 5 troops. But it's just a small drop table. And you can always aim at it. Whereas something like a bounty hunter troop is just randomly in every other drop table. And it's concentrated with so many other drops. And the smallest 2 drop tables you could ever get it in waste good resources. You'd either have to do an event key to the corresponding event, which would waste event keys, or you'd have to waste gems by buying additional tiers in Bounty Hunter, which would kind of defeat the point because then you'd be spending more tiers on Bounty Hunter in order to not spend more gems on Bounty Hunter. It basically means you only have event keys and just random drops then. Because it wouldn't make sense to spend less on Bounty Hunter, so you'd have to spend more on Bounty Hunter. As you might as well just spend the initial amount on Bounty Hunter then. Which is why we still pay for Bounty Hunter and don't skip that one. Because you might like think like if we're skipping something like the faction one that it would make sense to skip Bounty Hunter. But it's mostly the troop. Like almost entirely the troop. Which is the reason why we don't skip Bounty. As the troop for Bounty Hunter is substantially harder to reobtain than the faction ones. At a later point down the line. Yeah, the ogre buff was pretty nice. You take about 2,000 gold keys each to drop. Oh gosh. So yeah, you'd probably just go for 91, then use a blue orb at that point. Or even get it to 41, and then use double blue orb. Because I do that sometimes with the faction troop, where we get like one of them and then just double blue orbit. Otherwise we'll get 6 and then single blue orbit. What time are we starting to stream tomorrow? We're starting at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is in about 10 hours from now, 10 to 11. Our game plan for tomorrow is I'm going from 7 to 7. Because I want my sleep schedule to somewhat resemble an actual sleep schedule. Given that we just streamed the entire night the last 2 nights. Which is really funny. Because there's 3 storylines in that Pokemon game. Only one of which I cared about a lot. Which was the How to Train Your Dragon-like one. But one of them I care about, like, not at all. Which is like the school, like, bullies kind of Team Rocket kind of section of it. But one really funny line was some guy that was like up all night gaming because he was doing because it like corresponds to like the storyline for the thing, and it happened like right in the morning, and it was like somewhat referencing that he was like tired in the morning and everything, and it was just really funny because it happened at like 9 a.m. in the morning after we just streamed all night. Very relatable. That was like the only good thing that has happened in that storyline. Which is how funny it like perfectly coincided with the actual time of day. And what actually happened prior. Because so far as the 3 storyline paths, the How to Train Your Dragon one, which was the Titan one, has by far been the best. Like, I feel like that was their plan for the entire storyline, and then they're like, we need more content, let's add some other stuff. Like, I feel like that was the one that was meant to be the main one, but they needed more stuff for filler. But that was the best one. The Pokemon League is just what you would expect from a Pokemon game. It's literally like every Pokemon game copy-pasted, just with... it just looks different and plays slightly different. But it's the same premise as always. So that one was average. And then the Star Street one has just been kind of meh. So it has had a few good lines, but overall has been pretty underwhelming. I feel like a kid still in school would relate more to it. But I feel like everyone else would not care at all about what's going on in that storyline. Hey, we need 2 more. Also, 30 more levels to 1,800. Though we're starting to get to the point where we're going to need to get 1 level per day. At current rate. Alright, that reminds me. We should go look at the Mythic. Someone was mentioning the Mythic earlier. I'll take a peek at it. Wait, was that our last one or second to last? Let me double check. I think that was our second to last. That's another one snuck by us. That was our second to last. One more. Oh gosh, the very elusive one. Alright, so we'll go find this one, hand out a code, and then we'll go peek at the new Mythic. And after new Mythic, we'll just kind of poke at the faction event a little bit. Not sure if we're going to do all Versigils, but I want to get a little more progress on it. At least until the title, if nothing else. Or the portrait thingy. So we don't have to spend 25 gems on that later. Because titles cost 20, portraits cost 25, and emoji sets are 50, if I'm not mistaken. I think. If it'll let me move it. Gosh, it is such a small scroll bar from how many there are. Yeah, they're 50. They cost 50 each. Anyways. Actually, I need to go buy the rest of those. Could buy like 500 gems. I always get them. There's no reason to get all of them. I get them for completionist's sake, because why not? But yeah, I generally wouldn't advise getting them all. Because the amount of gems, like it might seem like a small amount, like, oh, they're 50 each per sets. But if you break that down for how many sets there are, I'm pretty sure that number is getting to almost triple-digit number of gems. Like, it's actually getting, like, insanely high now. It's definitely a 5-digit number of gems to buy every emoji in the game with gems. Which, if you put an actual price tag on, makes it start to seem absurd. But, you know, you generally progress them, like, slowly over time. But if you were to, like, buy gems to get every emoji pack, which I'm pretty sure no one does. But if you were to do such a thing, I think the cost ratio is somewhere around like thousands of dollars. But that's not what you normally do, obviously. You just get them slowly over time through just general progression. Like even in this late in the game, we just take tribute 2 times. We just got ourselves emoji pack, like 2 hours. Like it takes like 1 minute over 2 hours, or a few minutes. But yeah, you generally just get them slowly over time through events and everything. But yeah, it would actually cost like thousands of dollars if you were to like buy gems, then buy every emoji set in the game. It's kind of absurd. We do have all of them though, or at least as soon as we click those buttons, anyways. Aside from a few of the event ones that we skip, just because we get them later at the after the fact for 50 gems. Because normally it's cheaper to skip them than to go for them during the event. Also, hello, Easy Breezy. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let me go hand out a code. Daily code. Also, that reminds me, Kafka said we can get a holiday one next month. I need to go remind her because I'm pretty sure she will forget. But she did say we'll have a special holiday one. Okay, there's the code, everyone. One other thing I want to go do. Let's go over to Terran's World real quick. Someone was mentioning the new mythic, and I do want to peek at it. So if we go to Terran's World, we go to troops. Let's take a peek. This mythic comes out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The first the first Friday of next month. Let's see. Actually, there it is. Okay, let's see what this does. Let me grab this. Looks like undead from what I could tell. An undead something. Undead does have 50% mana start. Is an undead mystic, the Deathlock Drellock. It is from Karkaroth. Unfortunately, Karkaroth doesn't have much self synergy, so he's going to be used with stuff from other kingdom. He's a green, purple, red. Mark a sacrifice, curses and death marks an enemy. Then deal a bunch of magic, 1.5 times plus 3 damage to all enemies below them. Then summon an Aberrath. Ooh. You know what this troop is? This troop is a mythic version of... where's Dark Pits? I forget his name. He's a mythic version of Hexrat. Hexrat deals a bunch of damage to an enemy and all enemies below them. If the enemy is cursed, deal double damage and death mark them. So notice how it has like a cursed death mark synergy. And guess what else has a cursed death mark synergy? This guy. There's one other troop kind of like it too, but I feel like this one's closer because he's a cursed death mark mechanic, and this guy's a cursed death mark mechanic. However, there's one other troop that is somewhat similar to this in mechanic, and it is guard. Not that guard, but the other guard. Or not that guard. Never mind. Wait, I forgot. He's not called guard. He's called the other one. 1 second. He's called Champion of Anu. Yeah, he's Anu, not guard. But he silent stuns and drains all mana from an enemy and then deals damage to all enemies below them. He's generally not used. However, let's see what his final trait is, because that could make him viable. Also, he has a 1.5 times his magic. What's interesting about the other ones is both the other two I just showed have a 1 times ratio on their magic, not a 1.5 times. Meaning he does hit quite a bit harder than them. Particularly 0.5 times harder, for the most part. He also has an Aberrath summon every time he casts, which is interesting. He has a 25% chance to get an Ancient Horror on death, some immunes, and his unique trait is gain 10 magic after an ally is summoned. Oh. Oh. Yeah, he's viable. Oh, that changes everything. Hold up. That means he's going to be used in a sacrifice build, which makes sense. His abilities literally mark a sacrifice. Oh. That's interesting. So you're going to use him with him, a mana accumulator, sacrifice, something in last slot to simply exist for like initial mana or something similar, and then probably mana accumulator of some sort. And that would kind of be your team then, or at least one version that you can do. Because then you can sacrifice out your last slot, get a bunch of magic for it, get a bunch of color that you need, because you can do it into purple, red, purple, green. Then you will get a bunch of magic on top of getting additional magic for getting the summon, and you just kind of keep doing that over and over again. Interesting. I'm trying to think of a different way that you can also kill out. That would be kind of efficient. It isn't necessarily needed, though. Like, he doesn't have to get summons to still do a lot of damage. Just his base damage is already higher than many of the other ones that do similar mechanics to him. So just right off the bat, he's already hitting for higher. The only issue is the status effects he does, Curse Death Mark, is way weaker than something like what Anu does. Anu does Silence, Stun, and Drain from the target, whereas the other one, only doing Curse Death Mark, doesn't do too much comparatively. It just drains all their mana and makes it so they can't end up doing it. Plus, it still has a thing like Curse, which is Stun. So as long as you don't have immune to Stun, it'll still get rid of their immunities. So you'll still be able to land Silence and Mana Drain. So, I don't know. It could end up ultimately being weaker Anu, and Anu's already kind of weak. Though it does have some potential to be not horrible. I just feel like it's going to ultimately be unusable. Just because it's kind of hard to get summons. Though there is one other weird thing that you can kind of do for it. Also, goodbye Clip Bomb, thanks for stopping by. There is one weird thing that you can end up doing with it though, and that is start with a team that does not have 4 troops on it. That generally isn't particularly viable to do, though it is a kind of funny thing you could do. Also, one thing we don't know yet, which it likely doesn't, but we don't know if Transform counts as Summon for his ability. It likely doesn't, as Transform and Summon are generally considered 2 different mechanics. However, if for whatever reason Transform does count as a Summon, he's going to actually be kind of broken, because you can just Transform spam off of a hero weapon or something similar. So that could have some potential if that works, but it likely won't work, as Transform and Summon are generally considered different mechanics for how the game looks at it. But you never know, it could be coded in a way where it counts Transform as a Summon. Time will tell. Anyways, so next order of business. We only have one event left, right? We did all the crowns, we did all that, we claimed all the things. The only other thing we really haven't done is the current weekend event, which we covered a video for last night, for any of you that didn't see. Just kind of recapping everything with the current faction, and just all the teams in general, if you want copy-paste for any of them. The low-level team that we're using now, a higher-level team for killing them all out, Pure Faction. Though Pure Faction's pretty much just the same troop over and over again, but still. Pure Faction team. If nothing else, it explains how to use it. I'll throw a few battles here. If anyone else still has any other questions, let me know. I'll try using most, if not all, of our sigils. I'm not sure if I'm going to use all of them, though. I mostly just want to get to the title. Maybe a little further. Oh, that just reminded me. I don't have armor set. I need pure armor. And me not killing just reminded me we do not have damage. Yeah, there's a lot of weird gimmicks you could do. You can use Sacrifice Troop. You can use Hero with Death Knight, which will 4 times Death Mark the opposing team. You can use... I was going to say Elspeth, but we don't know if Transform works yet or not. Wait, no. Elspeth doesn't count as Transform. It counts as Summon. Yeah, so you could use Elspeth. Elspeth's ability counts as a Summon, not as a Transform. Because even though you're basically transforming the troop into a different knight, what it's actually doing is killing the troop and then summoning a new troop. So not only does it count as a kill, but it counts as a summon. So if there's anything that boost ratios off of deaths, it boost ratios off of Elspeth. And if anything boost ratios off a summon, it boost ratios off of Elspeth. She has a weird mechanic where even though what she effectively is doing is transforming the troop, the way the game looks at it is as a kill on your, or death as on your team, and as a summon on your team. It does not count as a transform, like many other mechanics that are similar to her, which is something rather unique about Elspeth. And the way that's worded on the cards is explains it as such as well. But she's rather unique in that I believe she's the only option in the game that has a mechanic like that. Or as most things will transform it, it counts as a summon and a death, which is useful for some particular boost ratios in the game. So you could do a weird team where you run like Hero, Hero, the new Mythic, double Elspeth or something similar. Or one Elspeth and then have like a pure color one that feeds into everything else properly. Why'd I do that? I already had the win condition. Oh yeah, Vashtagan! Hold up, Vashtagan would actually be viable. Oh, Vashtagan is about to go way up on tier lists. Thanks for pointing that out. I might have not actually noticed that if I didn't think about it too thoroughly as I was doing the list. Because if I did Vashtagan before going over that mythic in a tier list video, I probably would forget about that. But yeah, that would be rather interesting. Because not only does Vashtagan have a curse mechanic, but it also has it kills them out, devours them, and then summons back. So you gain all the value from that. You get a summon back, and you can just keep doing that. And if the thing that you keep doing it on ultimately dies, well, you get an Aberrath there. And if that Aberrath... And wait, and then you can just keep making that Aberrath into other things too. Wait, then you can just sacrifice the Aberrath, plus the Aberrath gains attack. Oh, wait. Oh, that's going to be funny. That actually does have kind of interesting synergy. I believe they both also have brown overlap, so you could use like a big brown mana accumulator with like Hero using a brown barrier kind of mechanic. Oh, wait, but then that's 4 troops. One of them has to be dead. That's the only issue with summoning teams. Your team is 3.5 troops. Because theoretically the number is 4. But the 4th one keeps cycling to something different. Or to something that isn't like necessarily the intended troop that you want in a lot of situations. So a lot of teams like that are like 3.5 troops. Which ultimately makes a lot of summoning builds not necessarily worth it. With a few exceptions like Arachne Weaver that summons Web Spinner and stuff like that. Just because the summon is so absurdly strong to begin with. And also really good in first slot naturally. Because that's another thing too. Anything that has a summon that doesn't like to be in first slot tends to be a lot weaker. As generally speaking, the first slot is the first thing that's going to die on your team in almost any given fight. Not always, obviously. But it is the most likely thing to die on your team. So generally anything that has a summon mechanic will more often than not be summoning into first slot. So if something has a summon mechanic but they don't do it that well into first, then their summon overall tends to just be worse. As that is generally the location where summons go. I need to bait out a skull. I don't need a skull, I just need him to take a skull. So I can then wipe him out. No, wait, he regained Submerge because he took an extra turn skull. No! I forgot. I need him to take a non-extra turn skull. Whoops. Oh, he did take a skull. Not the right one, though. Okay, let's see. Take the skull. There we go. No! Okay, good. I thought he took an extra turn for a second off that cascade. Now we're fine. Wow, how was that battle so hard? There we go. The struggle of not having Submerge when you're using a AoE team. Dude, this team does have room for it. You can replace out your hero in first slot for, well, there's no hero here. You can replace out 1 to 2 Rowains for a first slot or Skia Shield with Dispel or something similar. Actually, for the video, I actually showed it with that. Well, specifically, I showed it with a Titan. But you can replace out, like, an Skia Shield build. You can replace out your hero for Dispeller, like Sentinel or something similar. And put something that has Dispel on extra turn in that location instead. The only problem with using Thrall for that team is Thrall is full blocked. Actually, a lot of things that you could use on that team are kind of full blocked, which is somewhat annoying. Because you're going to be blocked on... Merilith will be blocked on red. Thrall will be blocked on everything. Angry Mob will be blocked on everything, because it's a red, brown, purple. Which makes it a little bit awkward to put the heavier mana accumulators on. It works good with Leprechaun, which you could theoretically sacrifice out, which is what I was kind of thinking of doing with that troop, is sacrifice your Leprechaun and have that be the troop you don't use. But not in first slot, but have it like all the way in last slot, like a last slot Leprechaun, but have that be the slot you keep devouring. Because it gives you immediate value on mana accumulation. Unlike a lot of the other ones that have to take a turn before they can get going, like Thrall. Because that'll allow you to immediately go into Leprechaun. Then ideally, because the team order will likely be Leprechaun. Or sorry, it would be a sacrifice. The new mythic. Actually, Vashtagan would actually be before it. So it'd be sacrifice, Vashtagan, the new mythic that's coming out on December, followed by Leprechaun. Is probably going to be the first team I test. Just to see what will happen with it. That's the first thing that comes to mind for most viable way to kind of set it all. And the main reason for Leprechaun instead of a different mana accumulator is just because it can turn 1 mana accumulate while still being full mana blocked. Because it doesn't matter if it's fully blocked on every color, it still gets to do something turn 1. And then you can just immediately sacrifice it soon after and then set everything in motion. My biggest concern with a team like that, though, is it's going to have lack of mana accumulation if you miss with sacrifice. Because you'd kill basically only mana accumulator. Like, sacrifice can mana accumulate, but it's a really awkward mana accumulator. That doesn't always work out. There's our portrait. We got the rose. Any other good loot coming up? Honestly, I think we're just going to go for this orb. Because what else is really left? I guess that Volkey over there. Does the free battles even reach that Volkey, though? I guess it might. I don't know, I might just go until we get the orb. Which is probably just one more floor. Actually, I just realized doing up to that point would be the exact amount that you would do on a Tuesday faction event. That's kind of funny. I'm basically doing up to a Tuesday faction event amount of loot. For a weekend-long event. Mostly because we can't get all the way with the free battles. So I might as well not even try. Because the only other thing we really would get if we did all the free battles, I think, is like a vault key. As far as like loot that actually matters. Because the shards are basically nothing. As well as the ingots that are quite literally nothing. Because for whatever reason there's no sync for them. Oh, that's funny. He just reduced our magic. Like that's gonna do anything. Because of course, most of Rowain's damage comes from her armor. She could be completely webbed, and she still hits for almost all of her damage. Because nearly all of it's from her armor specifically. Oh gosh, I need sleep. One thing that I have noticed from being up 2 nights straight, the entire night, is that sleep is important. Though I did get some sleep today. I just had a really weird time. Yeah, after the stream, I'm probably just grabbing a bite to eat and crashing. I'm still kind of tired. We'll be starting back up at 7 in the morning. Go from like 7 to 7. I never had any kind of normal job where I've had to work that long. I think the longest shifts I've ever had at like a standard job was when I was working at a couple restaurants. And I think the longest I ever had to do was... Actually, you know what? That actually was almost the same amount of time. Because I had to do it from the beginning of the dinner shift all the way till like slightly past midnight. Like it was almost 1 a.m. by the time we left. Because I think it might have been like 3 to midnight or 3 to 1. Like 3 p.m. to 1. I think that's the longest I ever had to work. Like a normal job. Which I think was only like 10 hours then. Well, it doesn't completely ignore Submerge. It only applies Curse to the first target, not all of them, right? Wait, does it 4 times Curse? I'm pretty sure it only curses the first enemy. Curse and Deathmark and enemy. Yeah, it only does it to 1, not to 4. Though I guess in combination with Vashtagan, it would do it. Yeah, I see what you mean now. You meant that in context with Vashtagan. Because it itself only curses 1. And would always have to do it on first slot, assuming to get maximum number of damage. And Vashtagan can, but it's going to be random if you get enough browns. The Mythic's basically just an alternative form of Hexrat or Anu. They're all basically the same mechanic. They hit first slot, apply some amount of stats effects to first slot, and then hit everything below them. It's the exact same mechanic, they just do it in a slightly different way. Where Anu is kind of tanky and gains a bunch of stats over time for all blue allies. Hexrat is kind of weak, but it's mostly just used for the faction. And now we basically have better Hexrat. Because Hexrat is also a curse Deathmark mechanic. And now we're getting it again, but in natural mythic form. Because Hexrat is not usable. Anu actually is on ever so occasion. Whereas this mythic will also be usable. One other thing that's kind of interesting is, unlike Hexrat or Anu, this new mythic coming next month has a 1.5 times ratio on damage. Whereas the other two have a 1 times ratio. Not only that, but it has a way to scale its magic on its own. And every time it summons, it basically gets 15 more damage to all enemies. Which I just realized something really funny. Oh, wow. That's actually kind of hilarious. Do you remember that one really abysmal troop from Groshnok that gains 15 damage to one single enemy every time I think you get a kill or an ally dies or something? Not you. Where is it? The other mythic from this place. Base rarity. But yeah, do you guys remember... Wait, is it Yeah, this one. Deal some damage to an enemy boosted by all allies and enemies that have been enemy kills. So basically, every single time there's a death, he gains 15 more damage. Now, there's going to be a mythic coming next month that gains 15 damage effectively whenever you summon, specifically. But it does it to all enemies. So it's basically just a full AoE Gargantar with more stuff, if you're comparing it to Gargantar. It's basically a Gargantar that hits an entire team simultaneously for 22 mana cost. Because it's also 22 mana cost just like him. But yeah, it's basically a full AoE Gargantar. That is how bad Gargantar is. On the list of why he's still among one of the worst mythics in the game. I'm not sure if he's the absolute worst these days. But he's still pretty far down there. And that's why. The next mythic is literally just AoE Gargantar with more stuff. Which doesn't necessarily mean it's good. It just means it's basically 4 times better than Gargantar. Which is a pretty low bar. But 4 times is a big number. No, never mind. It's exactly 4 times more. Because I forgot. Because the 1.5 times. Yeah, it's basically 4 times better than Gargantar. Essentially. Yeah, honestly, the entirety of Groshnok could really use an overhaul. On the list of kingdoms that need an overhaul, the Groshnok kingdom is probably top 3. I feel like it should be Adana, Groshnok, and one other one. Though, honestly, almost all of them could really use a rework. But Adana and Groshnok are like the first 2 that come to mind. Adana is just a really clunky mess of a combination of humans and mechs that don't really mesh too well together. Like, there's a few good troops like Tesla, Tina 9000. But Adana is completely carried by what's good in the kingdom, rather than the synergy of the kingdom. And orcs are just like all over the place and being useless. They're all different degrees of useless. The only good troops in Groshnok are those Empower Skull troops. And that's it. That's like the full list. If it's an Empower Skull spammer from Groshnok, it's good. If it's anything else, it is useless. Not to mention it has that annoying Drake Rider at 100% revive. Though they've added a few other mechanics like that since then. Though he was the original annoying 100% revive troop. But now there's also Ogress, though that one's actually fun to use. And there's also that one Spider one. There's like Tome Spider or whatever it was from that one faction. I believe it's like 100% Tome Spider on def. I should have done mana first, whoops. Because now we're in an awkward situation where it's my turn, but I don't have any mana. Whoops. And this will probably be the final battle we do for now. But yeah, any other questions, anyone? Anything else you want me to go over? Otherwise, tomorrow night, we'll be going over all the weekly spoilers for the following week. Be just kind of grinding a little bit and see what we can do. Go probably a little bit explore too, see if we can get some tokens. Though we might go and try to use some more residuals here. I'm not sure. It's just the loot for this is so bad that I feel like we'd get more loot just from doing Explore 12 at this point. Mostly just wanted to get to this one orb real quick since we already had it started. And that should be one more orb. Let's see. Yep, one more orb. There we go. Anything good? No, we only got a useless green, unfortunate. But yeah, the next useful loot is a vault key. And next useful loot on that, I don't even think we can reach based on how much we bought in. We'd have to do almost all of our battles just to get there, just for a single vault key. I guess 5 diamonds as well. It's just not worth it. I'd rather spend that time Explore 12 grinding at the end of the week. Oh, there we go. So what's in our mail? Oh yeah, the redeem code. Yeah, anyone who didn't claim the redeem code yet, it's the same one from earlier, but game same loot as always, 2 treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. Enjoy, everyone. Not sure if it's used up by now, but in case it isn't. Still a little bit of handful of loot. And there we go. Okay. And we'll do all the spoilers and everything else as we normally do Sunday night tomorrow. Aside from that, as far as our standard Gems of War stream, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we do every night, we will be streaming from 7 to 7. We'll be continuing the adventures in Pokemon Scarlet. And we should be finishing the main storylines within the game, pretty much. Because we're going to be able to go... we're basically at the point where we're doing all 3 of the conclusions to the game. The Elite Four, which is a conclusion to doing all the badges, or, you know, the standard gameplay of any Pokemon game that has ever existed. So we're at the final stretch of that. We're at the Area 0 portion of the How to Train Your Dragon portion, which is the most lore-based portion we've gotten so far. And then there's the bullies of the place, the Team Rocket kind of section of the game. And we're about to take out the big boss of that, which apparently might be one of the professors from the Academy. So we'll have to see exactly what that is then. And yeah, we're basically doing the main 3 final storylines. And I have a feeling when we go finish all 3 of those, there'll be like one big master like end game one that will then unlock. And then we'll probably do that as well. And hopefully finish the decks. I don't think we'll finish the decks next stream, but I want to like almost finish it. And then probably get it done by like Tuesday or Wednesday. But anyways, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Stay safe out there. I'll catch you guys soon. And we'll be back tomorrow night with your normally scheduled Gems of War content. Catch you guys later. Goodbye, everyone. And thanks for watching.